going at work, and this finger was out of joint. So I walk in the door like this in my purse, and I walk in, and there's policemen in there, and Jimmy and Jack Berger were on the ground, was handcuffed, sitting down on the ground. I guess they were waiting for me, I don't know, because the apartment was in my name. So they said, do you know you have marijuana growing in the backyard? I said, no. I said, no. I said, I didn't even know what it looked like if I saw it. And Jim says, that's the same thing I told him. So anyways, they were going to take me to jail that day. I said, oh, well, good. Maybe you've got a good doctor who can fix my finger. But they ended up, because I had to get David from preschool and everything. So they didn't take me that day. But it was, I had moved out, and we were at Byron's house then. And I came over to bring the kids over to the babysitter's house to go to work. And there's a policeman out there by my old apartment.
Yeah.
And he's flagging me down. And he said something about, get out of the car, get something. And I said, I had just dropped your kids off, thank God. And he says, park the car, he says, and come over. And I says, well, I don't know. I said, I don't live there anymore. And he goes, well, who does? And I says, well, my brother lives there. And he goes, well, is it in his name or your name? And I said, I really don't know. I don't know. So they said they were going to have to arrest me. I says, I was a smart aleck there too. Go ahead, of course.
Yeah.
Go ahead, I said. So they did. And while I was in the back seat of the car, I had kids from the neighborhood knocking on the police car window saying, hi, Peggy. And I'm thinking, I'm in my waitress uniform. I was working in Buena Park with that little short skirt and that red hat, or was that the one? Yeah, Jolly Roger.
Yeah.
And then there's a man on the outside standing on the curb, leaning over the fence, taking a picture of this marijuana plant they said was still in the backyard. And I was screaming in the back of the car saying, let's take a picture of the man taking a picture. He's gonna, because they're saying that they saw it walking by.
Yeah.
Well, he had to stand on the curb and lean over to get the picture.
Yeah.
Let's take a picture of the man taking a picture. Oh my God. So anyway, so that's when I went to jail. And as I am walking in, see, they were already looking for Jim, but I guess they found him. They got me in there, and then they brought Jim in. And as I'm coming out, Jim was down there handcuffed, walking over to the cell like this, and he goes, and I just was giving him the dagger eyes, But this is what they said. They says, oh, and the two cops that drove me in the police car to the jail said, we know you're innocent.
Why did you bring me in?
And they said, they will drop the charges.
If you'll testify against your
No,
brother?
they will drop the charges after Jim, after he goes to court.
Oh.
Because they cannot, if they drop the charges before, I could go in and say it's all mine, and they can't do it two times.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I agreed to that because at that point I was in there for 4 hours, the longest 4 hours of my life, and that was actually a really good thing that happened to me because I realized I never want to do it again to get me back in there. Even though, thank God, there were two other girls that were in the cell next to me, but they were both sleeping, so they walked to the next one, and I had a cell to myself. But I was for the 4 hours. I'd sit down in the bed. I'd sit down. Then I'd stand up, I'd walk around, then I'd go back, sit down, stand up for 4 hours. That's all I was doing. And then I had to call Byron because he was married for a very short time before me. And he ended up divorcing her because she was on drugs.
Wow.
So now I'm having to call him. My one phone call to get me out of jail. He goes, well, what are you arrested for? I figured, oh God.